Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me while we do a weekly price check of the Modern, Commander, Standard, and Vintage Marketplace. Now, I know I've done one recently, but this is going to be a going series that's going to happen every Thursday. So the idea behind this to see is which ones have moved the most for each of the sets, why they might have moved, and also what the predictions might be for the future movements for some of these cards. Let's get right to it. So, as I said before, Modern and Commander, in fact, Commander is overwhelmingly the reason why any of these cards move nowadays. But I know that Modern is starting to pick up steam with certain people like Rudy mentioning it, and even me mentioning it and getting one of the most popular videos that I put out, where I was talking about top 10 cards from Modern to maybe pick up at some point. So, let's get to it. One of the biggest things that you can see is Parallel Lives is the biggest daily mover for today, but if you go to the weekly changes, you can see Ulamog, the Infinite Jaya, has moved up $98.96 in the last week, 44% in the last week. I'll actually show you the move. It's insane what happened. And also, Parallel Lives, which is a commander card, has moved up far, far more than Jace, the Mind Sculptor, which is a modern card. Now, Jace is probably moving because of a lot of the talks about what's happening with Modern from Rudy. I don't know how many people actually took that to heart and actually went out and got a couple of modern cards, but who knows. Aether Vial as well moving up. There are kind of a few modern staples in here, but the biggest changes are Ulamog and Parallel Lives, and Misty Rainforest is an interesting one, but you got Grave Pact in there, Shapesharer. These are all commander cards that have been moving up for a while anyways. If you guys think there's anything interesting in here, let me know. I know that Samurai of the Pale Curtain is a very interesting card. I never even noticed it before, but it's actually a very annoying and powerful card as well. So yeah, let's get right into it. So Parallel Lives. In the last week and a bit, it has moved up from $33 to now right now sitting at $48. This is insanely fast. There's obviously some traction building up as well because it's moving up faster after a little bit of a dip. And I feel like this card, unless it gets a reprint, which I'm not too worried about right now, but it's a commander staple for any token deck. And there is a lot of demand for a card like this. It's sitting at $48.49. I have it for one of my decks, and I'm pretty sure I only have one copy of it. If you guys have or are sitting or buying this card, please let me know in the comments below, and let's see if this card is going to keep increasing in value as it has. Like I said, the last 1 year it didn't do much, but started this year it started moving fast. The next one is Painter's Servant. Painter's Servant is spiked from June 2019, when I guess all of the changelings or scarecrows, maybe there was a scarecrow command, I don't know what happened in 2019 for it to spike. Maybe it just got recognized, but it has been moving very, very rapidly from the middle of last year, July 20, to now, and its last week has moved up from $50 to $55. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one as well. Now, the biggest, I don't know what the deal is with Ulamog, the Infinite Jaya. Sadly, he's also the only one of the Eldrazi's that I actually don't own, but he was sitting at around about $70 for a long time. He actually did go up pretty fast. He went up in January 27 with the rest of the reserve list for some reason, and he moved up to $63, and then he moved up again. But now he's sitting at $100, guys. This guy, he got bought out. He got bought out hard. Now he is being used in a lot of commander decks. There's no doubt about it. In fact, that's the kind of decks I'd be putting him in as well. But for him to move up this fast, I feel like this was a targeted buyout. You guys can let me know if you think there's any other things with it. But literally from 2802 February, he's moved up by $30 in 1 day. Unless I'm reading this wrong. I am using MTG Goldfish. I might have to retrace and figure out if that's the same movement for some other cards. Now Jace is an interesting one. I can expand this guy out. He started obviously at 150 a couple of times. He's gone back to it a couple of times. You can see he's got a little bit of a bump from 69 to $75. So whether or not that means that he's actually going to stay at 75 or if he's going to keep increasing is very hard to tell, Because right now, Modern is still on the back foot. A lot of people are saying that Modern is going to come back, but I'm not too sure when that's going to be. It's one of those times where you can either pick up these cards very slowly over time, one card a week or one card a month, and then see how it goes. It depends on what kind of decks you're building as well for Modern. Aether Vial has moved up aggressively, starting at $37 in just 2 weeks ago to now at $49, almost $50. So Aether Vial has gone up by almost, what is that, $13 in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. That's pretty impressive for a card that was sitting at $37. That's almost a 30% increase in the last week and a half. Isn't this card getting a reprinting in Time Spiral Remastered? That might need to be a check when I'm getting the news. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Maybe there is no reprint for this card yet. The next section is Standard. Now these cards I wanted to keep an eye on because I was hoping they'd drop in price as the new sets that I wanted to pick up from. They include the Great Henge, Croxa, Uro, which has been banned, Vorinclex, Goldspan Dragon, the Helioid, Oko. You know, these are all great Commander staples, and a lot of them are moving now because of Commander. Now they're getting out of Standard. There might be a price change, but we'll have to see. A card like the Great Henge, it peaked at $66. Now it's dropped down to $50, and it's slowly moving back up again. I think this is actually a really good card. I'm going to have to keep an eye on it, because once it rotates out of Standard, there's a chance that it might not drop as much as you think, because a lot of people are thinking the exact same thing, so it might get snapped up fast. But there might be a initial drop, and we'll have to see, and you guys can let me know if you think that's the case. Goldspan Dragon, very, very amazing in a pirate deck, pretty decent in a dragon deck. It's been moving steadily up from the base of $14.30 to $23.04. I'm not too sure if this is going to drop. It's just come out in Standard. They're probably thinking of ways to play it in Standard as well. It's in plenty of mono. It's actually in plenty of Standard decks right now. But obviously it'll be a great card in Commander as well. It's a mana ramp in red, and it works well with pirates. It's got a lot of things going for it, so we'll have to see its future as well. It might actually continue going up. Now Uro has been banned in quite a few places. He has started tanking. There's a chance he might drop more. But just like Oko, once you get banned in a lot of places, the last place you go to is the most broken, which is Commander. So I have a feeling that even though he's popping up in some Standard and Pioneer decks, he is probably just going to become a Commander card from now on, similar to what Oko is, and that'll probably be his power level. A lot of people are saying that the new reserve list is going to be all the banned cards they're putting into Standard. That doesn't actually have to be the case. They can just release a Commander set and then put in all the Okos and banned cards and just be like, yeah, here's the secondary market's, want for all of these cards, so have at it. So until they come up with some news on the reserve list, I'm not too sure what else to say about it. Vorinclex, a very, very in-demand card as well for Commander. I feel like this is going to be very useful in the future. I would love to have it in my Praetors Atraxa deck, because it works so well with it. It's a bit expensive because I have been watching Command Zone, so I know that I need to lower my power curve, my cost curve, for my Commander decks to make sure that I have the ability to play what I want earlier without having to just sit on it. My Dinosaur deck, that kind of hurts a bit, but you can't really get away with it. This card is in plenty of Standard decks by the looks of it, but it is also an amazing Commander deck, so I can't imagine it dropping down from a value of $38 yet. And it just came out, so there might be some diamond hands for this kind of stuff where they're just willing to buy at 38 and sit on it because they expect it to keep going up in the future. So, and I know that I don't know how many boxes are being opened, but I'm pretty sure that there aren't as many box opening as much as in the past, which means a lot of people might be going to the reserve list, which is why a card like this doesn't spike up to $60 like Avacyn did when she first got spoiled and reviewed. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. I know that Avacyn was a bit more impactful on the table instantly, but the card like this has still got a lot of playability for Commander as well. The next part is Vintage. Now I'm going to only just pick a couple of cards from this because I already covered quite a bit. Survival of the Fittest I'll add in because I like it. Now there are some cards that obviously aren't reserve lists, like Necropotence, Mana Crypt, Deathrite Shaman, but this is meant to be Vintage, which has got a lot of value behind it anyways. You can see that on the weekly change, we got Mox Emerald, Contract from Below, Mox Ruby, Fast Bonds, Mind Twist. Now these cards have moved up a huge amount, 20% for Mind Twist, That's amazing. That's insane. That's $5,675. That feels like a buyout. But you guys can let me know if you think that that's actually going to hold its value in the future. The fact that it started off at 34,000 or 29,000 a week before is already pretty impressive. Then you got Mox Emerald and all that, Library of Alexander. That's fine. So let's go into the ones that I'm more concerned about, or at least want to keep an eye on. Survival of the Fittest had a couple of different spikes. I have the Judge promo for that because I think it just looks a bit better, but I think it's a good card. I have it in my Mordrotha deck, and I can see it stabilizing at the price that it is right now, if not going up for a little bit of more spike when the stimulus on the American side gets announced. Other than that, there's a chance that it might retrace, but you got to remember that while I've been talking about a lot of different finance for hyperinflation, deflation, there is just more money supply. So a card like this that isn't never going to be printed again will just have more money behind it and be worth more. Like as weird as it sounds, as unfortunate as it sounds, the world seems to work well for people that collect things that would be assets and so on. And while you can sit on cash for a while, it's probably best to not spend it on things that are commodities and things that'll just lose value over time. So, maybe don't get a brand new Tesla. Maybe get a brand new Survival of the Fittest. We'll have to see which one appreciates in value more. Maybe the first Tesla would actually be worth more than it was when you first bought it, but it'll be very hard for a lot of other things that lose value over time to keep their value like this. You pretty much want to keep it in good condition, but Jewel Lotus is another card that's been very spiky recently. It has kept moving up. It started at $13, now it's sitting at $144. Don't do it. I mean, yeah, okay, fine, you can. It just doesn't make any sense right now. This is a huge difference. Survival of the Fittest is a better card. Jewel Lotus says it's a one mana artifact. Remove Jewel Lotus from your deck before playing if you're not playing for anti Jewel Lotus, Jewel Bird. If you do, put all cards you own from anti into your graveyard, then draw a card. No one plays for anti. The fact that this card is $144 makes no sense. You guys can let me know if you guys play for anti, but I'm sure that your friends probably don't enjoy you when you say that you're going to take their cards. So forget this card, get Survival of the Fittest or something else that's a bit better on the reserve list, or get some gimmicky stuff that just feels like a meme, because those will also hold its value just like Dogecoin. Last couple, Dark Pact is $34.99. It is actually dropping by a decent amount. Now, I don't know if MTG Goldfish does the same thing as MTG Stock and other places where they try to average out the costs of everything that's available on eBay and TCG. If they do, that means it's actually on average better, easier for people to understand. So Dark Pact is now dropping from $49 to $35. I'm not too sure if there's more to go for this. This card has already moved up very aggressively compared to its past. It used to be $10 at some point before it jumped up to $50. And it's another one of those anti cards. I don't know who's buying anti cards, which is pretty much like keepsies for Pokemon or something, which is always a good way to get into a fight. So, how to see how that goes. Now, Wheel of Fortune is a very, very interesting one. Now, you can see that it actually had a massive spike. That makes no sense. That spike makes no sense, but it must be at least close to being real, because this is meant to be an aggregate of all information that's available on these couple of websites. So I don't know what's going on with that spike. But the fact is it bounced around about 537. I actually think that, sorry to say, but I actually think that might be the new floor for Wheel of Fortune, just because of the money supply. Until the money supply drains away with interest rates, there is no reason for this to stay the way it is. And if they keep announcing stimulus checks, it's going to keep bouncing up. So if interest rates go up and stimulus checks no longer come along, then cards will drop in price, as with all other assets, because of borrowing costs. But if they don't do that, then people are just going to keep, stocking up on these, and no need to sell them, because it's better to hold on to this than to turn into dollars to buy something else. So yeah, until the mentality changes, I feel like this is now the new floor for Wheel of Fortune. By the way, guys, this is just a tidbit. Me and my friends have started doing a podcast, and I try to defend investing in MTG reserve list cards just because of the fact that money value and all that. A couple of friends thought that was a bit off, because they want to play the games. So I'll maybe in a future video I'll link that audio clip, so that if you guys want to jump in, don't be rude, please. Like the video, like the audio as well, by the way. But yeah, if you want to just add in the comments why you think it's okay to invest in reserve list cards or hold on to them in good quality and keep them safe, and See how it goes. I know a lot of people do play with them, but a lot of people forget they have them as well. That's the reason. It's the game, guys, and I'm going to call it that. Have a good one and take care. See ya.